we've been asked to integrate the function x e to the x between the limits of 1 and 2. So you can see that we've got one function here multiplied by another one here. And as there's no particularly simple trick to solving this one, a good technique is to use integration by parts. And we do that by choosing one of the functions to be u. So in this case I've said let u equal x, and then we differentiate that. So in this case du by dx would be 1. And then the second function, I set that equal to dv by dx. So dv by dx is equal to e to the x. Now this is a special function, e to the x, if you remember. So when I integrate dv by dx, that tells me that v is equal to e to the x. Now the obvious question is, well, why did I choose u to be x and dv by dx to be e to the x? Well, the general tip is, and again, none of these rules apply completely universally, but a good tip is you want to pick u to be the function which will get simpler when you differentiate it. So when we set u equal to x, when we differentiate it, it becomes just a pure number. So it's become simpler. If I'd chosen e to the x as u and then differentiated that, it would just have stayed the same, e to the x. So that wouldn't really have helped our situation. But anyway, back to the question in hand. Now we use the integration by parts formula. And that tells us that the integral of u dv by dx is equal to uv minus the integral of v du by dx. So now we just, on the left hand side, we say, okay, well, u I set up to be x and dv by dx is e to the x. And then I worked out earlier all the stuff I need for the right hand side. So u we defined as x, v I worked out as e to the x, and I put that in square brackets and put the limits on as usual. Then I subtract the integral between 1 and 2 of v, which I worked out to be e to the x, times du by dx, which I worked out to be 1. And then I have to integrate this little bit here and put the limits on as usual. And that gives me this line here. Now I pop the limits in, which gives me this stuff here. And then finally, when I work all of that out, you end up with an answer of 7.39 to 3 significant figures.